to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today, it is written, I suppose, or perhaps it isn't. We are talking Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning, the conclusion of 2 months of coverage for us here on the Cinementalists, the newly released Mission Impossible film, written by Christopher McQuarrie and Eric Yenderson, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, released today, May 22nd, 2025, 23rd for those of you listening when this episode's coming out. Just I don't want to brag, but we saw it in Thursday night previews along with a large crowd, no big deal. But yeah, it was a great showing. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, it is always a pleasure to have you. It's been a while since we've done this specific thing. We have not done a project anticipating a movie in theaters in a couple years. I don't think we did one in 2024.
Yeah, it was
if I recall correctly.
Director. Yeah, it was a director spotlight.
Oh, we did Furiosa. We did a Furiosa build up and Monkey Man. I forgot about that. Yeah, we did those. True. I think those were the last ones. So a year ago, just about. But man, I was so happy to do it again. How did you feel? We're going to start spoiler free as much as possible for as long as possible. We're going to do that for as long as we can because it's release day. You know, not a lot of people haven't had the chance to see it. So we want to be able to invite you in, and hopefully you see it and then stick around for the later part of the episode. So how'd you feel about Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning?
My first theater viewing for any of the movies, and maybe one and done for the man. You know, so it was pretty surreal to kind of see just Tom on screen. It's weird. I feel like I'm just going to be glazing Tom, and it's kind of what the movie did as well. So it's like, and I don't know. It feels kind of right, but no, it's insane to see him doing what he's doing for this long and without a hit. There's no hit. There's like, no, I don't know. He's doing it just as he was doing it. Barely, if at all, has lost a step. Just so good. And I mean, he's a much more talented actor, I think, than he was. I think he's aging incredibly well as a performer. I can't wait for him to see. I can't wait to see what's beyond this for him. I mean, this is pretty much all he's done for the last several years besides a shitty mummy movie and a couple other action flicks, you know? Yeah.
This has been his lane. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is fucking incredible, but, this has been him for about, since 2011. It's pretty much all he's done.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see him
for the new era.
To see him outside of it. Yeah. And I really, really loved him in this movie. I think that you can tell, and as the Cinementalists, it's part of the name. We are rather sentimental fellas, especially about movies. And this movie is overwhelmingly sentimental about Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, and the Mission Impossible franchise. It's and I appreciated that angle. I know that's going to be a hot button for discourse, I think, is how much they go, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this.
It really helps for the general audience, I feel like, though.
It does.
Or like if you haven't seen the movies, it really, for us who just ran through every single movie and watched them all up until the movie, I feel like, I don't think everyone did that at all. It's so nice for someone who hasn't seen the first movie since 96.
Even me, who had watched these movies recently, I liked it. I liked those touches. You know, I think that the only ones that they didn't need so much of is the final the Dead Reckoning. They did a lot of Dead Reckoning flashes, and I'm like, man, if you don't remember what happened in Dead Reckoning and you're seeing part 2, good luck. But
that was
I enjoyed that. They did a lot of pull throughs. It really felt. We've talked about this a lot. How every movie could be the last. You know, except for 7. 7 was obviously a part 1 of 2. It concluded its own story, but it needed that finishing, and it finished. You know, like it did. It's one of those ones where whenever we talked about Mission Impossible Fallout, I said, like, it feels like a best of. Like, they do the greatest hits. They do all their big beats better than they've ever done them. And they package it in this one movie, and it's like, this could be it. It could be it. But they decided to come back. This, I don't think it's as good as Fallout, gut feeling, fresh out the theater. And I'll explain a little bit of that later. But what is interesting is that I think it approached it from a much more self-indulgent place. And this franchise kind of earned that in a weird way. You know, like, it's 30 years since the first one, almost to the day, 29 years since the first one to the day. And they got to show off, you know, like, they got to be like, remember all the shit we've done, you know, like, and rightfully so, you know, that's really, really awesome. It's really incredible. And I think that, to have helmed this franchise for as long as he did, Tom Cruise is just incredible as Ethan Hunt, man.
And the classic, you know, the story to go along, not to spoil anything that does happen, but the chess match that's kind of going back and forth, the plays that are made. It's like, I thought, you know, how can they really, like, we were saying, like, well, what's going to happen, you know, at the beginning of the movie? Well, they got to find that submarine. They got, you know, Ethan has the key. It's like, well, you know, there's only so much that can happen at the beginning.
And they make a fucking meal of it, baby. I don't know how long the movie is.
Yeah, what was the runtime?
It didn't feel how long it was, I promise. If that movie was over 2.5 hours, that'll blow me away.
I think it said it was breaking the record for the longest runtime of any of the movies. I think I remember seeing that. Yeah, 2 hours, 49 minutes. So
Holy
not quite
shit.
3, but almost.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. It didn't feel like that a lick. Incredibly well edited. It was one of my favorite things about the movie was that for the first time, and this is a big statement because they've had some pretty crazy missions. This is the first one that while I was watching it really did feel impossible. You know, like, I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this, man. You know, like, and that's what I liked about going into it going, this is the last one. The stakes were higher than they have really ever been. At any given point, I was genuinely worried I know Ethan Hunt's going to make it to at least the end of the movie. You know, he might not make it through the end of the movie, but he's going to make it to the end of the movie. Everyone else, though, expendable. Anyone can die, you know? So, like, at any given moment, I'm holding my breath, man. There's a fight sequence in the middle of the movie where Tom Cruise is in his underwear, and it's paralleling with something that Simon Pegg, Haley Atwell, and Degas, I wish I remembered his name off the top of my head, the actor. They're dealing with something in a different room, and I'm not spoiling that because it's a big part of the story. And them paralleling those fights is the most I've held my breath during a fight sequence, and I don't know how long. I felt so fucking elated watching that part of the movie. Greg Tarzan Davis, his middle name is Tarzan. That's
Tarzan.
Sick.
I had to bring it up. I was like, if you didn't find it, I'm like, wow, that's a dope ass name. But no, that intercut was really awesome.
So well done.
And they kept the stakes high the whole movie. I mean, it was like every little mission along the way, you know, every little MacGuffin that had to be gotten and such. They all mattered, and it was like at any one moment, it's like, you know, not spoiling it, you know, at this point, the world's going to go. You know, we're at the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's Mission Impossible. It's Mission Impossible. The world is at threat, you know, and Ethan Hunt's got to save it. There's no question about that. What I do love about it, though, is that the A, B, and C story structure was so prominent in this one, and they intercut it so well. Tom Cruise is alone for a lot of the movie, and that's surprising. And getting his story, then getting his crew story, and then underrated aspect of the movie, and I expect it will be, I mean, it should be overshadowed, is everything that happens in the Situation Room with Angela Bassett as the president. I loved that whole thing. So, like, we've got these 3 different levels of conflict, and all of them are firing on all cylinders. And I think that's what kept the movie firing, is that at any given place If you're in one of those three, like, you're good. You are, something's going down. You know, we are moving, and it feels good, man. It was a fantastic conclusion to a fantastic franchise, and I really, really, you know, not spoiling the ending at all. Because principally, if Ethan Hunt makes it out of the movie, if he doesn't make it out of the movie, either way, I don't want another Mission Impossible movie. Unless I don't want another Mission Impossible movie. If he's dead, if he's alive, doesn't matter. And I'm not saying that like they leave it vague. No, you know if he's dead or alive at the end of the movie. I'm saying that for the sake of, you know, being spoiler free.
Yeah, they gotta, if it does continue, the only way I'll accept it is if it's not even called the Mission Impossible Task Force, and it's just a new, I don't know, there's just it's maybe the same universe, maybe, but even then it feels kind of wrong. Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
I don't know. As well, and there's obviously a world big enough here to deal with stuff deal with stuff outside of Tom Cruise, you know, because either way, like I spoke to how sentimental this movie was. If they do another one, bro, what was all that for? You know, like what was all that for? It's one of those things where it's like, and it would just be different. It would be That's why I'm like, it's the last one, and I'm so confident in that. And if anything else happens with it, I'll be kind of livid, and I don't think it will have anything to do with Tom Cruise. You know, I think Tom Cruise will have been like a production studio choice, and he won't have anything to do with it, and then it'll automatically be written off for me. But
it did. At least with how much it did, just reminisce on everything and just kind of go through every little, I mean, the smallest of details too, and some things that came around that I didn't expect to come around that I loved.
When they come around, they fucking rip.
My God.
Oh my God. There are pull-throughs from the first movie that really make the movie, one. Dude. Yep. You know, the best choice this movie makes is a pull-through from Mission Impossible, and I can't believe it. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh. Okay, fuck yeah. You know, like I loved that, dude. And I want to speak to a more technical level about the film as well. I think that it's a very good looking movie. It was definitely worth seeing in IMAX. I think its best comparison quality wise is Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
I think that they are a part, they function as a part one and part two, and they pair really well that way. They are made with the same sensibilities. They are written by the same people, you know, starring the same cast. It's just, those movies go together. And I think that it has this dramatic flair that Dead Reckoning didn't quite have in its production in terms of visual sensibility. I think that there's a little bit more of a, I don't know, a lot more like shadows. And I know that's like, big film term, shadows, you know, you know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I don't know shit about shit, but it looks darker, it's lit better.
Purposeful
generally.
light. The light was thought about. Yeah, it was, and I think the thing that set it apart from part one, at least to me, it felt like this was much more practically built. Like a lot of these sets or a lot of the crazy, I don't know, some of the stunts, I guess, like up in the trailer, you know, on the planes and stuff. I feel like that's, you know, that is just Tom doing his stuff on a wire or whatever. But like the stuff in the ground, underwater was really impressive. Crazy. And this movie takes you all over the place, man. It really does. It was in terms of Mission Impossible movies, I compared one fight scene in Rogue Nation to Indiana Jones. The one where he fights the bigger dude backstage during the opera and all that. This whole movie had more Indiana Jones energy than any other. It was much more travelogue, and they've done some traveling. Don't get me wrong; they go place to place, but the tone they take in every individual location felt a lot more like, you know, we're on a quest. We're on the search. We're looking for something. You know, we're not chasing someone necessarily. We are looking for the Sevastopol. And I think that's, I mean, it just worked for me, man. I don't know.
I'll have a tough time putting a ranking on it as far as where it falls in the Mission Impossible franchise.
Ooh. Yeah, I haven't
But
even thought
fresh
of
out
this
of the
yet.
theater, it is top 2 of 2025 for me. Like the year so far, behind Sinners.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I guess 2025. What I've seen in theaters, is this actually it? Is this... No.
No, well, if it's it would be a
Wait.
2025 release, that's what I'm talking about. Not necessarily what I've seen in theaters, because if I did that, it'd be top 3 with behind Nickel Boys also, but that's a 2024 movie. But yeah, Sinners, I mean, still takes the cake for me on the year. But
Yeah.
this is one of those franchise films that I'm just going to be a sucker for. Because, like I said, we are the Cinementalists. We are sentimental as hell. And this movie fed that. Like, it wanted you to be sentimental. And that's, it couldn't have paid off bigger for me. I loved that.
Yeah. I guess usually you can say, each movie kind of stands on its own, or you don't need the others to watch.
You absolutely need to watch every Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
You actually, funny enough, you might be able to skip 1 and it's 2. I don't know if there's a single pull through from 2.
Yeah. It feels. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of the black sheep.
It is
John Woo just did his thing.
God,
bro.
He cooked. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I love that movie, and you should watch it. If you're gonna watch 7 fucking movies, you might as well watch 8 fucking movies.
come on.
You know what I'm saying? So don't skip any. But if you're gonna watch this one, as far as what's necessitated, one, skip 2, 3, and on. You gotta watch all of them, which is crazy.
Yep.
And I love that about this movie, and I think that that's something that. I mean, our theater, while I had some complaints about someone a couple seats down from me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, God. What a
I'll
guest.
explain. Yes. So we had somebody every once in a while. Palm Clementif's in the movie, and she's playing the same French woman that she played in Dead Reckoning, obviously. And she speaks French. So every once in a while, the people in the movie speak French. And there's subtitles, and like normal people, I read those subtitles. I didn't
With
have
your
to
brain.
do that though.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that. And the reason I didn't have to do that is because someone 2 seats away from me was reciting every fucking French subtitle.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shut
Every
the fuck
time.
up.
Every time.
What are you doing? And I appreciated her. Her enthusiasm was high. She was having a great time. She was reacting very viscerally to the movie. She was in it. She loved it. So I love that for her, But stop reading subtitles. We're all here to read them. And I thought maybe she was reading to somebody. I checked. She wasn't.
During a peak emotional moment too. She's the only one heard in the entire theater.
Oh my
and it's
God.
just like, okay.
Made me want to lose my mind. 2 seats away from me. Pissed me off a little bit. But regardless, beyond that, I loved our theater. It was a very, very good theater experience. People reacting the way they're supposed to at certain times. The laughter at the way they played the comedic beats was so perfect. You could feel it. Everyone giggled together. Everyone laughed together. Everyone held their breath together, aside from that one fucking lady.
Oh yeah, no, it was very, very. No one was obnoxious. I wouldn't even call her obnoxious. It was
I wouldn't
just
either. I wouldn't
subtly obnoxious. It's like, it's so subtle, but
it's
just,
enough to annoy me, but
Yeah.
not enough for me to be like, oh my God, will you shut the fuck up? You know what I'm saying? Because that would have been mean. I thought about, there was a certain point in the movie, but we were so deep into the movie by then that I was like, I don't want to be the guy who's like,
Yeah.
hey, would you mind being quiet now, please?
Yeah.
Because if she was bothering me, the person behind her had to be in hell, and the person in front of her had to be in hell. And if they didn't want to say anything, I don't need to say anything. You know what I'm saying? But regardless,
But they're all thinking the same thing.
oh, we're all thinking the same thing. It's impossible not to. But yeah, I didn't want to harp on that too much, but it did affect me. It genuinely did.
Hey.
There were moments that I wasn't able to emotionally access because someone is talking next to me, and that's tough. So
But-
I do look forward to seeing the movie again. I don't know if that'll be in theaters or if it'll be once it comes out at my home. It'll probably be in theaters if I had to wager.
Yeah. I mean,
I cannot wait to do that. I cannot wait to see it again and really, really experience it because I hate that was taken away from me in its full experience, I should say.
Yeah. I wonder how much, like, I don't feel like it took, I feel like I got 98% of the experience.
No, I still
that
got
I
plenty.
probably should
I
have,
still
yeah.
got plenty.
But
but there were moments where I was like welling
I'm like,
up.
God.
I'm ready to
Yeah,
cry. I'm ready to
I
let the tears
know.
fall, and then
And
they
then
can't come
fuck
out.
it. Yeah.
And then they
I
can't come
get
out
ya.
because
That does
somebody's
suck.
talking next to me. And I'm like, I
mm-hmm.
didn't get the cathartic release I needed
Yep.
from this. What are we doing here? So, all that to say, the movie should make you cry. It definitely made me cry. It made me want to cry, and I just
Yep.
couldn't.
This is
So,
true.
I mean, I'm not saying it should make you cry. If you don't cry during movies, that's a whole other thing. That's your problem. I'm not saying it's a problem. That's on you.
This one,
but,
good
good,
couple tear up,
good.
good couple wells, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it was nice. You even had, I don't know, you might have had the unfortunate seating next to this lady, but you did have seat E10, and I don't know, that's just fucking
Ethan Hunt.
awesome.
Yeah,
that is
that's pretty hard.
awesome.
That's pretty hard.
I think I thought of that maybe 3 times during the movie, just while it was like in transition
like,
shots, and it would like
Golden
it just on
E10.
Ethan's face. I'm like, Ethan. I don't know. I just kept doing
hard.
my
I love
my
the
brain.
phonetics. I love the
can't stop.
phonetics. Yeah,
But-
that's so funny.
Yeah, it was written a
well,
little bit.
and that's the thing too, is that something about, I got this while I was watching Dead Reckoning also, and it's not something I've really gotten watching a lot of other movies. And don't get me wrong, this is going to sound like hero worship. I'm not trying to make it sound like that. We've just talked about this several times in relation to Tom Cruise. It's crazy how long he's been famous. The level of stardom he's achieved will never be achieved by an actor again, and if it is, I'll be genuinely astonished. You know, like that
Goddamn.
will,
Yeah, that's
there are moments when I'm watching him in the movie theater. Not a particularly emotional moment, you know, and I am overwhelmed.
You're just like, holy
by
fuck.
emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is movies. You know, like there's something about him that's like, I'm in a movie theater watching a movie the way I'm meant to watch this movie. And that there's something so special about that. There was a moment when everything was silent. Actually, he wasn't on screen during this part. And I will spoil what's happening in the shot, not necessarily in the movie. It's in a frozen tundra. Haley Atwell's on screen with an Inuit woman. And the screen is almost entirely blue from the sky, like that white blue sky that you see whenever it snows. And it's just them in the middle of the screen, and they're kind of looking at each other. They're talking about something. I was just like, I don't know why in that moment I was like, I'm at the fucking movies, baby. You know, like I'm at the movies. This is what it's for. I loved it, and I don't get that feeling during a lot of movies. But I'll tell you what, a Tom Cruise movie will make me feel that way. That's the good stuff.
This could only be a movie. There's no TV show like the I don't know. A TV show could have this story, and
This couldn't go straight to streaming, baby.
Yeah, like This is meant for the big screen. Meant for me to forget everything else and just be wired in.
Surrender to it.
Yeah. It's only painful if you if you fight it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm spoiling.
Yeah. The entity is. I really love the upgrade the villain got in this movie. The entity is much more interesting in this movie than it was in Dead Reckoning. And not to say that it wasn't interesting in Dead Reckoning, it was just much more mysterious in Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Now it's full. You get to know the entity in this one, baby. I'll tell you that. I don't have any problem spoiling that.
And it's almost more interesting on what like the humans do in response to the entity. The entity is just kind of there. It's only really shown in the movie like twice, like actually doing stuff. Like, but it's just in the back. The fact that it's just there in general.
The idea that the humans, like the entity is so powerful that it's leaving it up to the humans to sow the seeds of their own destruction.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's an awesome way to write the villain. And now, and I can't get into that. That's a little bit more of a spoiler. But regardless, it is really incredible what they managed to do with the entity and how threatening they make the entity and how human the movie can still be when the villain is a robot, is the AI all-knowing God, anti-God, if you will.
No, but this is if there's one crew on the goddamn planet, as long, I guess it feels weird. It feels like dictatorship. Or, I don't know. Yeah, hero worship a little bit, but it's like as long as Ethan's just at the helm, As
Hey,
long as,
Ethan Hunt, I have no problem worshiping Ethan Hunt.
That's fair
Ethan
enough.
Hunt's the shit. Ethan Hunt, a god walking amongst mortals. Tom Cruise, very famous man that I respect. For now, we'll see.
That's true. Yeah, Ethan Hunt. I am speaking of Ethan. Yeah,
Yeah, the character Ethan Hunt, I believe in him unabashedly. He can do anything. If he put his mind to it, man. And that's what I love about this movie is this movie knows you feel that way about Ethan.
Yep.
And this franchise has done everything it can to make you feel that way about Ethan. And then us watching this film with a mission that does truly feel impossible for the first time, in the back of your head you're going, he's Ethan Hunt, he's going to do it.
You figure it out.
This is the one where you're like, he might die doing it though. Like it might be it for him. It might be the last mission. And to be able to cultivate those stakes really, really hit for me. Ooh. And I loved it, man. I loved it.
Great. 2 hours 49 minutes is actually wild. Like that. Like that's coming back
Blows
back
me away.
around. Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess we spent a little more time. Like just kind of getting going than I thought. It kind of reminisced a lot and kind of really
the first 30 or so minutes does spend a lot of its time rehashing, kind of
pretty expository. Yeah, I don't know. Like if I could maybe have one gripe over the whole movie is that I could take a little less exposition. I think
I could take a little less exposition. I have spoilery gripes. Gripes that I can't get into without spoiling literally what happens in the movie.
I think that's probably the only non-spoiler gripe that I could give is that
I mean, like, and the other things aren't gripes. It's just maybe criticisms would be more accurate. Like, I don't think it's I think it's as good looking as Dead Reckoning, which I do find to be a pretty movie, but it's not the prettiest movie in the franchise by any stretch.
No,
like you said, it's pretty heavily expository in ways that it doesn't need to be. Like we're dealing with a lot of stuff in Mission Impossible movies. Sometimes you do got to get expository. Like, oh, let's make this layman's terms for people who don't know all the technical shit that they are talking about. I get that. That's stuff that's unavoidable in movies like this. But this is what happened in 7. Oh, do you remember this in 3? How about this in 4? What about this in 1? It's like, okay, and a couple of those might have been needed, but not all of them were. They're like reminding you what happened to Palm Clementif at the end of 7. I'm like, I know what happened to Palm Clementif at the end of 7. That's one of my favorite bits of the movie.
And I mean, even just some of the working, but like some of the more complicated, like, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is the plan, blah, blah, blah. It's like when it's super complicated, computer parts, whatever. I feel like that's good,
fine.
Easy
Go for
exposition
it.
there. But even some of the like, and that will mean that you could possibly die, by the way. And it's like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's like, I don't know. It's like they always say it just so abruptly, and like,
but someone will have to stay behind. Someone will have to do the thing we're talking about.
So it was more of like that. They always it was good, and then it just went like a little bit too far each time. It felt like,
and that's probably a pretty typical gripe for Mission Impossible movies generally. I do think this is like I said, this was pretty self-indulgent, and I think it earned that for sure. But it could I could see how it might wear thin on some people. And I mean, but beyond that, some of the I'll do some spoiler-free things that I loved. Tom Cruise, already went over that. Simon Pegg. I think probably Simon Pegg's best movie in the franchise.
He put on a performance, dude.
As far as performances are concerned, I think that he is genuinely great. Let's see. I mean, Haley Atwell, there's an interesting thing they do with her in this movie where I feel like she probably could have been more present.
Yeah.
They make her very important, but she's... I don't know. I like her so much that I wish we had more of her. And maybe that means I wish she was with Ethan as he did all this shit, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah.
But even that, I don't know. That's a whole new movie, Like, I don't want to dive into that. I love Palm Clementif. I love Palm Clementif. I will never get tired of Palm Clementif, even if she is kind of a, I mean, she's played as kind of a comic relief character in this, because she's freshly found, she's been a contract killer, and now she's on this mission with them. It's like, okay,
but no. Yeah, every single person in the squad is...
Oh, they do a fantastic job. The performances were just so good across the board.
And then
love
the newcomers.
Ving Rhames, man. Ving Rhames was so good. Greg Tarzan Davis, incredible. Shea Wiggum, I mean, delivers a couple emotional powerhouses for me that I didn't really see coming from Shea Wiggum.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, for... this guy, I feel bad. The only thing that I remember and that sticks in my head from this guy is Kong Skull Island whenever he does the grenade sacrifice. Yeah, so it's like even if he does or is doing the right thing, it feels corny no matter what, or like something's about to go down. Like, I don't know, it feels like he's about to just be tail slapped across the fucking and into a mountain at any given moment. But
I wanted so badly for my favorite new addition to be Katie O'Brien, and I loved her. Don't get me wrong. I loved Katie O'Brien. Yeah. She was incredible. I knew she was in it. I was waiting, and she's there, baby. Let's go. I love Katie O'Brien. The best newcomer in this movie is Tremel Tillman, the captain of that submarine. I loved that guy. He's in Severance.
He's in
Severance.
Okay, thank you.
And he does an incredible job in that as well. Man, I hope this leads places for him. It's not like he's a giant part of the movie, but holy shit is he charming. Man. Holy shit is he just oozing charisma.
Holy shit,
I need more
he takes
of him.
up the camera. Yeah.
Yes, he does. He's one of those rare, I may throw out. He has that girth.
He does. I was literally thinking it. I think, yeah. Like, it's crazy that I've only seen him in Severance, and that feels like that's kind of the only.
That's probably all you would have seen him in. And
it felt, seeing him on screen, it felt like he was an established actor. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, I've seen this man in so many things. Like, he's in everything.
He belonged
I don't know why.
There.
Like,
what was, and that's what I loved about specifically the crew they put together on that submarine. Pairing an actor like him and an actress like Katie O'Brien together, actors who are on the younger side, lesser known, not unknown, but lesser known, and giving them moments to act across from Tom Cruise. Like you're acting with Tom Cruise, you've earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like you are legit by any measure, and I think that was. I think I'll look back on it as kind of an underrated part of the movie. I expect, like, there's just so much that happens in the movie that I don't really know what's going to stand out as like fan favorites. People who go and see it are like, "Whoa, this is awesome." I don't know what people are going to think is the best part of the movie. I'm confident what I think is the best part of the movie, but I'll get to that here. I guess we've done some spoiler-free justice. It's been about 30 minutes. Do you think we might be able to get into the spoilers?
I think we've done enough for the
all right.
peeps.
Well, if you don't give a shit about spoilers, you can stick around. If you do, I suggest you go see the movie and then come back and listen to the rest of it with us. But yeah, it's worth your time. Regardless, you should go see it. I would advise that you watch the first 7. Emily was like, "I get off work at 5. I might be able to go see it with you at 6." She was like, "Do you think it'd matter if I haven't seen any of them?" I was like, "Yeah, probably."
Yeah, actually, this might be the only one. The only.
I was like, "I'm pretty sure Ethan Hunt could die, so I don't think you'll have the emotional, resonance you'll need for a moment like that without the first 7. So, and if he doesn't die, someone's dying. I'm like, somebody who we love is dying. I can promise that. And that promise was fulfilled. But regardless, spoilers, we enter the realm now. Get the fuck out of here. If you care about spoilers, leave. Okay. It's done.
Oh my. Everyone died. Oh my god.
Everybody's dead.
Everybody, the whole world.
Yeah. No,
he didn't.
Actually, I think everybody should have died. No,
Yeah.
and I don't mean that. I don't mean that. But the tone this movie was taking, the sentimentality, the send off, the sentimentality, I appreciate to a point. Ethan living, I don't love.
I know.
And I don't love Benji living either. I didn't think I wanted Benji to die, but when killing Luther at the beginning of the movie, I think it would have been so perfect if all three of them went down on this mission.
Yes.
I think it would have been so perfect, and not much about the movie would change. Hardly anything about the movie would change. It would hit a hell of a lot harder. I'd tell you that much.
They all did exactly what they needed to do.
They did exactly what they needed to do.
They
live and they die.
Yeah.
They live and they die in the shadows for people they will never know. And I think that doing that last little shot where they're all looking at each other in the square, you can do that with Degas, you can do that with Haley Atwell, you can do that with Palm Clementif, and they can still look at everybody and they can go, they'll never know what happened. You know, like that's the shit that and don't get me wrong, I'm not like, God, I wish they would have done that, because that would have, that would have genuinely, to me, been a better movie.
Yeah,
I don't usually make critiques
it up.
where I don't usually make critiques where I'm like, this would have made the movie better. I'm like, no, usually the things that I'm like, ooh, maybe I would change this. Well, I don't know what that affects later in the movie. This is the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm asking for a sadder ending.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if they did all die and I was like, man, I really wish Ethan Hunt would have lived, then that's something a little different. But
he should have died. I don't know.
They should have. I really think they both should have. And with Benji living, it makes Ethan living a little worse for me. Like them both making it out was like, I needed both of them to die, frankly.
Yeah.
And if Ethan was going to live, I needed Benji to die. Or if Ethan was going to, if Ethan dies, both of them need to die. If Benji dies, Ethan can live, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain that thought process necessarily, just the way it feels in my bones.
Yeah, I mean, they had the perfect opportunity to kill Ethan as well.
Oh my God.
Of whenever the plane was upside down, the poison, whatever, stick was just hanging there. He could have just grabbed it and fallen. No parachute. He accepts his fate. He knows, he trusts his team. Boom. You know? And yeah, it's gruesome. He's just splatted on the ground. But I don't know. I feel like that would have been a perfect, Ethan just, I don't know. He finally
he does one stunt he can't pull off, you know, that's kind of because here's the thing now too. If they ever do more, and I do not want them to do more, but if they ever do more, they now cannot kill Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
You know, if they were going to kill Ethan Hunt, that was the time to do it. You know what I'm saying?
He's actually God now. I don't know. He's what closer to God can you be than anyone on that planet? And that's why I can't even think of the next movie.
No, but I can't fathom what that would look like.
At the same time, John Wick 4, I couldn't think of the next movie. You know, we said he has to be in hell, literally, and fighting his
John
way
Wick
back.
5, that's for sure.
So I think it's more of a story writing. We can't see it.
It's absolutely a story writing thing.
Studio-wise, though.
That's my thing. There's absolutely another story in Ethan Hunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that his story is obviously it's reached its conclusion. You know, no, he doesn't get a ton of resolution as a character. You know, he's just alive and they've saved the world again. And that's, for me, that's enough. You know, I can live with the idea that he will keep going on missions until he dies. Cool. That's enough. You know, I don't need to see all those missions. And with John Wick, that started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different ball game. You know, it started 10 years ago and there's half as many movies. You know what I'm saying? This is a 30-year franchise that just hit its 8th movie. You got to know where to end it, and I do think they know where to end it. I know people are probably like, they've already said multiple times basically this is going to be the last one, and I buy that it's the last one for Tom Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah. Maybe he just like directs. You know, would that be
cool to see him move?
Maybe
into a
he just
role.
like if there is a 9, he just directs it. He's not in it.
See, but that's the thing. Ethan's alive, so fuck it. You know, like that's where I'm like, that's where it's tough to kind of where we're towing the line. I can't. If there's another Mission Impossible thing, not having Ethan when Ethan's alive feels weird. Especially if it's a movie.
Yeah. And now him having the entity is like, well, they're not going to make the movie where he just makes Utopia, and then it's like, okay, that's it. No. So it's like, yeah, he's
ironically, I think by not killing him, he kind of assured, by not killing Ethan, Tom Cruise kind of assured there wouldn't be another movie. You know, like if he refuses to come back for a Mission Impossible movie. Like they're not going to make a Mission Impossible movie, you know. Like they're not going to make
the actual checkmate. He's
if he was dead, they could go do whatever they want, you know. So maybe there was an idea. No, but I do want to give it the grace it does deserve, because I do like I'm shitting on it like they should have died. The ending's still not bad. I do like the ending. It does feel like it missed the mark. Where it could have knocked it out of the park, you know, it could have knocked it out of the park, could have hit a home run. They settled for a ground rule double. You know, ball hit the warning track, bounced over the wall. That's enough. You know, it's fine. But you're getting held up at second no matter what. You know, I love the sentimentality, like I've said multiple times, and I do appreciate broad strokes. Benji lives, Ethan lives, beautiful. I love that. But it's not enough closure for what should be a closed book.
It's weird that I'm wishing for like Benji and Ethan to die, but like
I really didn't think I'd be there.
Yeah, it felt like a beautiful Andor kind of just similar storyline of like you know, every little battle, every little fight matters, but you know, Benji and Ethan, they're doing these last things that save the world, and Benji's was like telling Haley Atwell like what to do, and like and then he let out this like exhale, like finally whenever he realized everything was over, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. And I'm like, I accept.
When Pom Clementief's holding him and she's like, you know, she's got her hand on his head and on his chest, like,
and then you just see him up and alive. The next shot of him, he's just the back. Next scene. And I'm like, what?
It's like, okay, I thought he died. You did not make that clear. So there are 5 characters at the end of this movie that they tease the death of. That's too many. Yeah.
You got to do one of them. If you tease, like, I don't know.
You have to send one of them off. If all of them live, we should not have done that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they tease Degas. They tease William. William, back, baby. Love and William's wife. Tanisa or something like that. I loved them. They were beautiful. And I wanted them to, I thought like maybe Degas would sacrifice himself so they could see out the rest of their days, or they would sacrifice themselves so Degas could live a nice full life. One way or the other, I thought that one or two of them was going to die. And then they all live. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then Benji takes his last breath, I think, and I'm like, okay, Benji died. And then we see Ethan with a white parachute out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, Ethan's alive. Oh. And then the next shot, Benji's alive again. Holy shit, nobody died?
I feel like maybe like the script was written for them to actually die, and then the studio was like, no, we need a way to have a future with these people. Like I feel like it was because it feels so much better.
There's a lot you can do. If Ethan, Benji, and frankly William and his wife die, you've got Pom Clementief, Haley Atwell, and Tarzan, Greg Tarzan Davis. You know, you've got a pretty good foundation, and then you expand to what this movie introduces us to, which is that sub crew with Tramell Tillman, Katie O'Brien. You know, like
But as a studio, they care of one man and one man only.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's. I feel like if I don't know.
That's the thing, though. No studio is outdoing Tom Cruise as far as the end of Ethan Hunt's character.
That's true.
If Tom Cruise wanted Ethan Hunt to die, Ethan Hunt would be dead.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's no studio that's outdoing him on that. He executive produces the movie. It is a Tom Cruise production. That is the first thing you see in the title sequence. Like, if Tom wanted Ethan to be dead, Ethan would be dead. So that's why I love and appreciate the sentimentality, but I do think it went a bridge too far here. I think that it undermines the stakes that they did set. Like, I felt them the whole time, and it's not that everybody living under undoes the stakes. No, I still felt it. It was still real. It's not like I'm in a real world scenario. I'm incredibly thankful that everybody makes it out alive. In a dramatic scenario, I want somebody to die.
Yeah.
I want to feel the weight of this moment as full as I possibly can.
It's kind of crazy to boil the movie down, and I hate doing this because to simplify a movie or to boil it down in a couple sentences is just wrong. But like, we were waiting for basically a computer virus to upload itself and then send the nukes. That never happened, or that just was avoided, and that's it. That is it. A computer virus
was the mission.
It was a slow loading bar that we saw. Oh, UK gone. Oh, China gone. Oh, Russia gone. You know, it's like, okay. Oh, and we're in DEFCON 1. It's like, so.
Well, and also, for as expository as the movie is, I don't really understand why the entity can't just do that.
You mean,
like, it's taken its sweet fucking time going all over the world. Why?
See, I thought I had this moment. I'm like, oh my God, this will be beautiful. I'm like, I thought the entity was giving the humans the chance to send their own nukes because like every country probably realized this.
You know what?
And
that
they're
is
like,
probably what the entity was doing, is giving them the ability to destroy themselves.
And whenever, like, say Russia knows they're about to lose control, and they're doing the same thing the U.S. is doing. They're like, oh shit, we fuck, we're just gonna do it. They hit the button. Then, right when they hit the button, is when the entity is like, "No, I have control." Cool. You thought, but then I don't know. Then they never did it. I thought that we were gonna see a Russian situation room or the Chinese situation room, or I thought we were gonna do that. But I do really, really love the situation room part of the movie, though. Like, that is, I love the back and forth.
Every critique I technically have, it comes as a result of this feeling like an extremely fast 2 hours and 49 minutes, which is a generally good thing. Like, I want more of it.
Yeah,
which
honestly,
is crazy.
we needed like a 30-minute. I don't know.
I might have needed 30 more minutes, which is crazy. That I will say is selfish. I don't necessarily think that makes the movie better. I think it makes me like it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a line there. Because I'm with you. There are some things that I wanted from the movie that I didn't get. Now, I don't necessarily think that it would have made the movie better. It just would have it would have put a fucking smile on my face, is really all it would have done.
Because, like, really the only foreign kind of just anything that was not American. Yeah, it was just the Russians at William's house, or at the station.
Sosis,
and that was, it was cool whenever they were like, oh yeah, we actually had a second key the whole time. It's like, yeah, we don't, whatever. So like, it seemed the Russians were like a step ahead, and I'm like, oh, cool, maybe they actually have something going on, or like, I don't know, maybe there's another, I don't know, something else going, and then it's, I don't know, just not really talked on. And so yeah, I thought that could have been a really cool area to go, is like seeing how every single country would have pulled the trigger, if I don't know, like, just, and that's how they went down one by one.
Well, and we were doing something really interesting editing wise. One of my favorite sequences in the movie is when Tom Cruise is explaining his plan to Hannah Waddingham, the chick who gets the paper that says the date.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's Shame, woman, by the way. Shame. Shame.
No way.
Shame. Yeah, same
Oh
lady.
my God.
Very, very,
Okay.
very talented woman, Hannah Waddingham. But he's explaining his plan, which is paper thin, to Hannah Waddingham, as Haley Atwell and team is explaining their plan to themselves, basically. Like, they're just going over it, and we're intercutting it so that they are basically having one big conversation, all of them. I think it would have been really cool with the Situation Room thing you're talking about if they were all doing that at the same time, sort of. Like, like, I don't know. And they pose the quandaries morally and back and forth, and that could have been really interesting. But it doesn't. That lessens the dramatic tension of the United States being the buildup, like the tension building to the United States, like. And it would undercut the ending of that storyline, you know? So that's one of those things where there is, like I say, why can't it just do it? That's a Cinema Sins ass critique. It's not even really a thing. The thing that I would have liked is a reason why it can't do that. Like, cause I don't really understand that.
And I guess it just said that, like, each country was more secure than the last. You know, the security systems are just better, so it's just a brute force thing that takes longer. Is kind of, and it's like, I don't like the entity is
all powerful
so,
computer virus. I don't know.
That's
so. We're building up the strength of the entity while also being like, but it can't do this. So it was one of those things where I'm like, But even then, it didn't bother me. That's all just logic stuff that I we're talking about it. I'm going to bring it up. But
Ethan connecting with it, like, actually,
great scene.
That was awesome. You know, he knew he had to, and like he even knew it was wrong. He was like, I shouldn't be doing this actually,
it
but
will change you.
I must do it. Yeah, and I mean, he came out and he was like, all right, fuck. Dude,
is this real?
This.
Is this real?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he actually was taken back at first, but then he was like, "Oh my God, I have everything." He's like, "I have exactly what I need." I don't know. It's so fat, and I loved how he was just like, "Yep, all right, everything you need is on this notebook. Where are you going, Luthen?" I don't know. Like he just, bro was ready to go.
Cooking.
To imagine, if he actually had this, if this was a tool he actually had on his side, he'd be unstoppable. Like it would, that's
It's what he has now.
Wait a minute. Is that the continuation of the series? Is to destroy the character of Ethan Hunt, and he finally becomes the villain. The entity takes over. It was his plan all along. They do what they did with
the first Mission Impossible movie, and they make the main character from the series the villain. There's something there. There's something there. No, there's nothing there. Tom Cruise would never let that happen.
But it's like, it's not actually him. It's the entity taking over his body, you know. Yeah. And then at the end, it's actually him, and then it's good.
You like the idea of this, but if they ever did it, you'd be fucking livid. I would anyway.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah. No. I can't.
You cannot destroy Ethan Hunt that way, dog. Like, he's just too infallible. And that's what's like that scene whenever Haley Atwell's like, "What if we control it? You know, what if we undo what the entity did?" And he's like, "Nobody should have that much power. Who would you possibly trust with all that power?" And she goes, "You."
He knew. Bro knew though. I don't know.
Yeah,
he knew exactly. He knew exactly.
Do you see the way this beautiful, unbelievable woman is looking into your eyes right now? You've done the impossible. You just swam without a suit on. From a fucking couple miles deep in the ocean.
Who even knows?
They were like, if you breathe in at all, your lungs will collapse and you'll die. And he just took the whole suit off and floated up. Like, fuck off. I love it, though. I loved it, you know?
Man.
That whole sequence.
Yeah,
incredible.
She coming in to save him. I mean, I will say, maybe a little gratuitous at points.
Oh, they lingered.
The cleavage was crazy.
Lingered.
The IMAX fucking Haley Atwell
the IMAX cleavage was otherworldly. You know, I mean, we do come to this place for magic. You know, and I got magic.
And it's cold in that water, you know. So the headlights were on, you could say, you know. So it was. But no, a beautiful, like, bringing them back, just kind of.
I mean, it was a great scene. It was a beautiful scene, dude. And then I one of my favorite choices the movie makes is never making them explicitly romantic.
So they're always about to kiss, but then
I'm usually anti that. I'm usually like, man, make it romantic.
More
it would
romance,
be
the better.
so wrong for him to be into her fresh off of Ilsa's death. If he had done anything romantic with her, I would have felt so betrayed for Ilsa. I would have been so pissed.
And obviously, there's still something there. They got good
Oh, yeah,
chemistry, but it's
absolutely.
more of just like, holy shit, we're doing this, and holy
we're
shit,
doing
you're
it. Well,
like,
and you know, it's almost certainly love from Haley Atwell's side.
That's true.
There's this. I don't know how you could possibly not fall in love with Ethan Hunt if you work closely with Ethan Hunt. Benji's in love with Ethan Hunt.
That's
it's just
true.
a different way. You know, Luther was in love with Ethan Hunt. It was just a different way. Like you meet Ethan Hunt, you work closely with him, you will be dedicated to him. You'll go, oh my God, this guy knows. There's just something fundamentally he understands, and he does it. And so when it comes to that, infatuation is almost inevitable, especially from when you're looking at an attractive gentleman and you are an attractive person, and you go, oh yeah, we are attractive people, and we are sitting here chest to chest, and you know, I'm warming your body back up.
Yeah, you're welcome. I breathed air back into you. Actually, I
loved that shot, by the way.
Oh, the
when she's
catching,
coming up from the water, and then it fades to them being above the surface. I loved that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not quite their plan of just to chop the block and just grab them out of the water, you know, whatever. I prefer, this shot was way more beautiful, and I prefer just, her having to dive in and go get him. And maybe that didn't even happen, and that was just kind of in his, I don't know how it's in his head. He's very unconscious.
I think that was a oddly artful choice.
Yeah.
I don't think that she 100% didn't do that underwater. You know what I'm saying? Like that was all done above water. But that was the way to shoot it in a pretty way. Like she is literally breathing life to him in near on the brink of death.
Yeah, her hair was flowing though. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean, like they continued the visual language of what being underwater was like. You know, I think that they definitely shot that underwater. I just don't think that was what was literally happening in the moment in the movie.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if you exhale into someone's mouth underwater, you are just going to put more water in.
Yeah. That doesn't really, I guess so. You'd have to keep your mouth like on them the whole time.
Like suction.
You couldn't break the loop. Yeah, I don't know. Like you'd have to just exhale and then your lungs would be empty. Yeah. So it's but beautiful shot.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. It was a gorgeous shot. Yeah. And there's a couple really great shots that I love. What might be my favorite shot in the movie, just because I was like, this is quintessential to the identity of Mission Impossible, is killing its villains in Looney Tunes ass ways. I adore the way they killed Gabriel. I love the way they killed Gabriel.
Oh my God.
And everything whenever Tom Cruise enters stunt mode, there's always a little bit of a Looney Tunes energy. You know, like he is human Bugs Bunny.
Yep.
He's like, I can do whatever I want and I won't die. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite shots is whenever he is chasing Gabriel and he's riding the other plane while the other guy is still in it. The other guy is still piloting it. There's a shot where it's like kind of aerial right above the head of the pilot, and it's angled towards the left, and Tom Cruise's head enters frame from the bottom. He just kind of looks up at him as his hair is blowing in the wind. Like I don't know what because he climbs up from the bottom and then all you see is his head peek into the corner of the frame. I adored it. I thought it was so funny. I loved that shit.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, very, like, it was funny, and it's situational, funny. I think, for most of it.
The beginning, whenever Haley Atwell watches him cleaver a dude, but you don't get to see it, I love that.
I mean,
I loved that sequence. Like
kill
Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt is brutally murdering these men, like in a way that makes Haley Atwell's character uncomfortable to watch. Grace, I need to stop calling her Haley Atwell.
Yeah,
Grace. when she like closes her eyes and is like, oh my god, she's like hearing the noises, whatever Ethan is doing, and then
looks away,
she's like,
can't quite look away though, gotta look back.
Yeah,
and it's like
whenever he's like, all right, he's got blood all over him, his shirt's ripped in half. Tom Cruise looks great, and he's like, all right, let's go, we gotta get Gabriel, and she's like, I can't. And he's like, oh yeah, well. They were gonna kill you, and then they run. I loved that incredible sequence, man. And there were just a few really great laugh out loud kind of, get you to giggle moments. And I like the way they used. I think her name was Tanisa or Talisa. I don't want to speak wrongly, but Bill's wife. Whenever we were talking about the scene between Grace and Ethan, where they're face to face, fresh out of the water, and then he looks up when they're about to kiss, and it's her there, and she just kind of waves. I love that. I love that.
The her and Grace together, like before they're like, she's kind of teaching her how the sled works, and
that was funny.
Like, oh yeah, gun, I'll put this gun on your back. She's like, what the fuck I need this for, She's like,
because. She imitates bears. I love it. Polar bears.
Polar bears.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's what we're dealing with. Yeah, I don't know. So it was, but man, William it's crazy that the best addition to the movie.
Actually, I would argue they, aside from Ethan Hunt, who is always the best part of a Mission Impossible movie, they might be the best part of this movie aside from Ethan.
Tapisa, a P. Interesting.
Tapisa, okay.
Tapisa. Yeah.
All right,
but
Tapisa.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if I don't think, wow. And no, looks like this is at least the first, is this her first actual movie? Yeah, TV and a short, maybe if Limbo, if this is an actual movie. Yes, it is.
She looked familiar to me.
Only one movie, Limbo, but a TV series and shorts for the rest. This is her first or second feature film. Crazy. This is number 2.
Must have been projecting something onto her. Yeah, that's crazy. She was really good. I loved her. I loved her last moment with Grace. Whenever she's like, "I will see you again." I loved that. And then she's the one who walks up to her, and they like lock eyes at the end.
Their faces light up, with the entity in the little glass. Oh, dude, the fucking
great parallel that the entity wanted to destroy and enslave humanity, and they end up enslaving the entity. Yep. That's good stuff.
It's trapped in a fucking glass shot. Whatever Luthen
I'm pretty sure
invented,
the way they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure the way they did it, it doesn't even know it's trapped.
No, yeah, it thinks it is in the whatever doomsday fuck you room or whatever. It just thinks it's in there.
For the world to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just in its like own eternal hell. Is like, now I'm finally where I am. Now the nukes are going off. Now just time to wait.
And never will that time come. Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. But and
Luther, man. Great beyond the grave presence in this movie. Actually, I liked his role in the movie more after he was gone, ironically.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't like it when he was there, but just the presence he plays in their minds is a lot more.
It makes it better. Yeah,
it does. It does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
see, what sucks is that Luther's the only one who dies. Dude,
damn,
come on.
A bad thing and a good thing. You let my
boy go on into the grave alone? Follow him there, bro. I don't know.
Maybe it puts him that much more on the pedestal, Without him, he literally invented the way to kill God and to trap God. Bro, I don't know. He created 2 things that were impossible before.
Luther's an MVP. I loved him in this movie. Ving Rhames, incredible.
Accepting his fate down there.
Dude,
and he's like, we're on the right side of the gate, Ethan. He was so calm. Yeah. He was so calm. Oh my God. It was.
I have no regrets. It was a trailer line where he goes, your life cannot be defined by one choice. It's the sum of all of our actions. That make us who we are. And I don't regret a single fucking thing, Also interesting to have made him terminally ill.
Yeah. Kind of where did that come from?
I'm gonna guess it's all the exposure to nuclear fucking weapons they
That's
encounter
fair.
all the time. You know,
all the disarming they've had to do next to plutonium
all the bombs
cores.
they've had to destroy. I got to imagine it has something to do with that. But it was an interesting way to a thing that does kind of suck, and it's all circumstantial. I'd be interested to rewatch Dead Reckoning and see if this was even an idea.
Yeah,
like
it
something
didn't
that
feel like
he was
it.
hiding or something. Because at the end of Dead Reckoning, he's not in the last act of Dead Reckoning because he goes, Ethan, I'm the only one who can fight this thing. I've got to go somewhere analog that the entity cannot find. I've got to go do this. And he goes, and we don't see him the rest of the movie. This is what he was doing, clearly. But now he requires a hospital bed and scrubs, which I was like, I don't really understand what's happening. And you needed something that kept him there. You know,
True.
which I think is why he's sick. You need something that justifies him not being able to leave. And it also softens the blow of an early demise. They killed the only guy who was going to die anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess whenever I saw he was sick, I'm like, oh, well, you are 100% not making it out of the movie. Like, I am
100%.
like, yeah, so I was, from the get-go, I was like, okay, well, I'm ready to say goodbye to Luthen. Or Luther, not Luthen. Too much Andor. I wanted more Andor line. I wanted Ethan to die.
Some of that vibes.
But
that's why I'm like, and even so, Luther's presence looming is still great. You know, the tape he leaves. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds. I loved that.
And
you know,
the actual the most practical self-destruct, because like if it didn't, then Kittredge would have gotten control of the I guess, or the source code, and maybe could have made their own entity, and
he knew
whatever.
Exactly what. And
but
I don't think I don't think Ethan knew that was coming. I love that he was like, Luther did that. Luther
he thought of
prevented
everything.
that. It's so good. It's so perfect. And
if you're hearing this, then that means the world's still here, or like some whatever he said to open it up.
Yeah, if you're hearing this, it means the world's still here, and you are too.
Oh.
Which would have hit harder. It already hit hard. It would have hit harder if he wasn't there to hear it. If Haley Atwell heard it or something. And now she wouldn't have been able to. That was part of the message on the thing. So like
the shot would have been Ethan's dead body on the ground and the message just playing next to him. Like, but that would have actually been so good. That would have been so good. Like, I mean, it would have been gruesome. Like, his body would have been absolutely
They wouldn't have done
mutilated.
the actual thing that would have happened.
But,
it would have been dramatized so that he's fine. He's just got his leg twisted or something.
But then, just the sun, you see just the
sun
landscape, or like the beautiful,
that's why I'm like, there was room for a really, really beautiful ending to Ethan Hunt, and I think that I always thought the natural ending for Ethan Hunt was sacrificing himself to save the world.
Yep.
And they set up a moment for him to sacrifice himself to save the world so perfectly.
Yep.
And then they don't do it. And then they almost do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then they don't do it. And it's like, okay, well, I was really okay with that. Yeah. And I don't think there's anybody in the movie theater who wouldn't have been okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what you're building to forever.
Yeah, we literally,
specifically these last 4 movies, you've been building to Ethan Hunt sacrificing himself to save the world.
And we both realized it in this moment when the plane was upside down.
Both looked at each other.
We're like,
and went,
"Oh my god!" This is
over.
This is, but we were okay. It was like, yes, it was like,
we both looked at each other, and I think we both smiled and nodded. We went, yes, and I was so ready, and that's why it feels it did undercut the ending for me. It really did. I do think I think this movie would be better if Ethan died. And even then you can have Benji live. You can have Benji live, if Benji lives, maybe he gets to listen to the tape or something, maybe he and there's again, it was part of that device. It's a whole other thing.
But Luther, he's smart. He could have left messages for everyone else. Right when this plays, it sends, I don't know. Who knows? It could have. They could have come up with something.
They could have played something with it.
But yeah, no. This oh man, I can't like. You're. I feel like I hate to say like, oh no, this would have made the movie so much better, and like I feel like I have it figured out.
I do like, not ever feel confident when I say that. Whenever anytime I've ever said that, I always qualify it.
Yeah.
I am 100% confident that makes this movie better.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like, man, I honestly can't believe he didn't die. Like I was just so ready for, maybe that's just the expectation is like, this is the final reckoning. This is the last one with Tom Cruise. He will die. Just get ready. The
final reckoning, not nearly final enough.
Yeah, no. Actually,
it should have been Mission Impossible: A Reckoning.
Or like zero It was just a Cold War. It like actually no one died other than Gabriel.
Dead Reckoning. Reckoning Part 2.
Yeah. So I mean, and it does. I don't know. It does sound like I'm shitting on the movie a whole lot, and it's not Fallout. I might like Part 1 more. The more I'm like, thinking about it.
I genuinely might.
But it's still probably it's right up there, like with these and 1. Like I mean, 1 is still. I guess I don't know.
It's top half for me. I do hold it in higher regard than 2 and 3. Dead Reckoning finally has its companion as far as how I view, like they're all pairs now. 6 and 1, 7 and 8, 4 and 5, 2 and 3. And that's I have them in those 4 tiers. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I look at it. And I appreciate that this is in that second tier. I do think it's top half. You catch me on a fresh watch of Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol, I might feel differently. But that's what's also interesting about franchise movies. Because I feel like I've done enough to say how much I love the movie, because I do. I did love it. I thought it was a great ending to a great franchise. I just think it could have been better. I've never walked out of a franchise movie for a franchise I love and been like, that was as good as it possibly could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always gone home, like specifically the sequel trilogy. I remember coming home or going back to whoever's friend's place we were at and going, wow, I like this. Man, but they did this. Yeah, they did do that. They did this too, didn't they? I feel like the last time I walked out of a movie theater 100% happy with a franchise movie, as far as like, wow, they did everything I wanted them to do, was Avengers Endgame, which is crazy because now that's probably lesser than all of those in my mind.
Yeah.
I really found this comparable to Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. Very much so. Where
I think it's a little better than Dial of Destiny, but I like Dial of Destiny is what I kept coming back to in my head as its apt companion as far as franchise filmmaking.
100%. The sentiment, like just being sentimental and reminiscing over all of the old stuff, playing the main character up as the legendary status that they are, kind of even more with Ethan Hunt. And then like the story itself is still really cool though. So it's like, what happens in Dial of Destiny? Like where Indy gets to fucking time travel, bro, gets to actually like,
that's sick.
So yeah,
he gets to live the hit. Like, that's why I'm like, it feels like a really good comparison in that I loved the movie, but I have plenty to say about it that I don't feel good about.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about this one. I think that, and I do think this one will age really, really well. I think both 7 and 8 will age really, really well. I think that these will stand the test of time extremely. Mostly and ironically, Mission Impossible 1 is really timeless. I think that these are extremely timely, and I think that they will always be an interesting time capsule of the early 20s.
That's true.
I think that playing with the idea scare. That the AI scare, yes, but what the AI represents at the beginning of this movie, the way the world has responded to the AI, they don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
The lies have become the language of the world. There's no truth. Nobody knows what's real and what isn't. That is as poignant a sentiment as you can possibly find.
Mon
Andor just played with
Mothma's
that. We've
speech?
talked about Andor.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. We just this is as poignant a point to be made in media right now as is in any era. You know, like it is going to be. It's going to stand the test of time as probably being the primary lasting theme of the early 20s in movies and art.
Yeah, the 20s, we're not really the roaring 20s like we wanted. I think we have the, I don't know what to call it, but the nuclear scale, like this is, feels like another coldish war. I don't feel like it's ever over, but at least I hate this image, and it's but at least it's nice to have it in a theater and a reminder of what could happen if these things are launched, you know, and like just
that
seeing
shot,
eight
that
cities
shot gets
or
a huge
whatever,
fucking
like,
payoff though.
Oh my god! Or what? Are we thinking of the same ones? Just like the whole
when
Earth?
The lights come on at the end.
Okay,
that's the parallel to what you're talking about. When the Earth is exploding, basically, the shock waves are rippling out.
Yeah,
they take the same angle of Earth and show the lights coming on at the end after the entities.
That's
and
true.
I loved that payoff.
I guess I was more talking like whenever it showed. Here's Paris. Here's the Eiffel Tower being England. Evaporated. Yeah. Here is Beijing being evaporated.
Yeah,
it's
here's Big Ben being disintegrated.
Yeah, it's like yes, like I hate the argument of like, well, technically we don't have enough nuclear power to blow up the entire Earth. It's like, but it's like no, we have enough to end civilization though. Like that's the point, is like we can set our cities back to zero, in an instant, and it's done. Like it's not like that the whole Earth is literally gone. It like no, that's you know, we're not quite there, I hope, but it's like no, like this at least just. This was just 8 cities, or whatever, like going. This wasn't even, well, I guess eventually it played up to the whole world. But like it was crazy even when they were just debating on like, well, we have to take out these 8 cities and
we have to take out these 7 cities.
Yeah,
and
true.
As a notion of good faith, you should take out one of ours also.
Which is like actually true.
No,
but
100%
like,
made
what?
sense. They were like, you will lose office.
Yeah.
You will probably be impeached. You will be disgraced for all of history as someone who nuked her own city, but you may prevent another world war.
It's the only way to do it. Like, yeah, like, because without
and even then, they were like, we can't guarantee it.
Yeah.
That's why we're calling it a good notion of good faith. You know, like it's just
like,
we're trying to play it safe. We're trying to play it equal, you know?
And if we just took all of our nukes offline, if all of them were off, I love that she mentions that line. She's like, if we weren't, you know, but no one trusted the other person. And the Russians in that house, they're like, well, would you trust me if I were you? You know, or would you believe that if I were you? It's like, well, obviously not. It's like, well, yeah, it's this the nuclear bomb though. I swear it changed everything. Like AI, it's making things change faster, but I like the moment that we had the ability to, I don't know, I think it's just a different kind of, not an awakening, but a forced awakening of sorts. Like we gotta think a little differently now, and I don't know, I hope with enough of these movies, you know, can we I don't know, is there a different solution? I don't know. That's I don't know the solution, you know. If it was known, I think it would just be,
yeah, I mean, it would probably be implemented if we had a way to undo it now.
I don't know, these goddamn bombs, and seeing that visual just over and over, that's
it's a painful one, man. It's and there's a few of those in this. I did also really, really enjoy that sequence, even though it was, you know, horrifying in theory.
Horrifyingly beautiful. Yeah. It's
it was like gorgeous imagery, really incredible VFX work. Like holy God, it's really, really good. I loved the pull through of the rabbit's foot.
Yes. That it all comes back. Yeah, it's like it's
to Ethan. Like them being like, You did this
Yeah.
to save your wife. The fallout of all your good intentions.
Yep.
The end you always feared is coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all the shit that Solomon Lane said did come to fruition.
Yep.
Just wasn't him that got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's so good. That's brilliant. And them being like building up the rabbit's foot in 3, never giving us the answer, just this looming threat. They could not have imagined it would pay off this big. You know, they didn't put a fucking name on it because they didn't conceptualize something that dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's again what makes this so fucking timely. You know, like
yeah. It just works for right now. Like this isn't. I don't know. It just is the AI scare. I wonder if that. I don't know. That feels kind of like the closest name I could give to the era is just we just don't know. You know, we have no clue, and it is almost like we are living in the entity's world a little bit. It's like, well, we're barreling towards this inevitability that no one knows if it's 5 years, 10 years, 50 years away, or if, you know, whatever.
Well, you mentioned the AI scare. I'm like, how long is that?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if AI, as long as AI isn't sentient.
Mm-hmm.
That's how long the AI scare is.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the moment it wakes up, though, that's it. You know, like the scare is over. Whatever we feared is coming to fruition. And if maybe the fears were for naught, maybe they were for everything. You know, but that's the line. You know, so like the AI scare, who knows how long it could be? Like you said, could it be 5? Could it be 10? Could it be 20? We don't know.
And it's like,
what if we're not as close as we think?
Are we the ones that they've never met? Are they the ones? You know, is there a fucker out there that's just as crazy as Ethan Hunt that has actually saved the world? You know, it's like it's probably not one person, or there's probably not a mission like these, but like there's
gotta be a situation in the history of the world that we have never heard about where the earth was nearly destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, not the earth, but like
something.
Millions upon millions upon millions of lives were at like hundreds of millions, maybe even a billion, something like that. I imagine there's got to have been something like that, and I take solace in the idea that I'll never know what the fuck it was.
Yeah, we think the Cold War's the worst one, you know, and it might as well be.
That's just what they can tell us.
I hope it is.
Yeah, no, I'm not going full conspiracy nut here,
but no, it'd be, you know, it'd be kind of epic to have just if there's an Ethan out there, you know. And I love that. yeah. We'll voice scramble you. You're good enough. If you're Ethan,
if you are the real life Ethan Hunt, I want to meet you. I want to. You don't need to work.
Yeah, and the captain, the guy who's in Severance, who's Tillman, Tillman. Yeah. He didn't even learn Ethan's name. Just knew him as Mister. You know,
Mister.
Like the
Calling
whole time.
him Mister over and over was so good.
Just like,
and
all right,
whenever he's like, Mister, if you want to poke the bear, you've come to the right guy. You know, I'm like, yes, let's go. You know, I loved that. There's a lot of great beats, man. I do think making Shea Wiggum, John Voight's son, is an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I think it justifies his character's actions a lot in the last couple movies and makes them much more interesting.
Yeah. That'll be cool to watch back.
He was also interesting as just a really you know, straightforward,
by the book orders kind of guy. Yeah.
Well, and the moment they were like, that's not your real name, I was like, holy shit. Like, I put it together right before
like,
he
like,
looked just
fuck.
like him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were doing something to make it look a little bit more like him. But regardless, like, he looked a lot like John Voight in that moment. Sorry to Shea Wiggum.
Yeah, but no, he did look. I mean, it was insane how it just all clicked, and I'm like, oh wait, what the fuck? I'm like, wait, yo. And yeah, I guess.
Well, and again, I like the way he was like, you think I'm harboring resentment for that? You know, like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, it's my name now.
Yeah, it's my name now. I don't give a shit about that. So like, that's why I'm also like, I appreciate that they did it, but also they clearly didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
beyond
it gives
the sake of
the last
connective tissue.
Yeah, the last handshake. Bro points the gun at him and takes it. Like, I don't know. I thought that was so funny. It's like,
that was so funny.
Like,
I mean, frankly, there were a couple times during this movie where I was like, "Will somebody put a bullet in Henry Czerny's head?" Kittredge, like,
yeah, dude.
I don't know. I've never viscerally despised Kittredge as much as I do in this movie. You know,
yeah. I mean, even the hard-headed generals, or I guess Nick Offerman, in Holt.
Nick Offerman ends up coming through. The other guy,
that's true. Yeah,
he should have gotten shot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did. Or wait, that was just like one random guy who the attempted assassination.
Yeah, I'm talking about the guy who was like in her ear, like, listen to reason. This is the right thing to do. The other one who wasn't Nick Offerman. I'm trying to find who
Holt
that was.
McCanley, Serling,
yes,
that
it.
guy.
That's
yeah. It's like
hated him viscerally. Fucking despised that guy.
Good old Sherlock's brother, Mark Gatiss.
Charles Purnell, the guy who does the fist pump in Top Gun Maverick at his desk, where they're watching Ethan Hunt do the test run, and he goes,
yes.
You know, that's him.
That's right. That's right.
Charles Purnell.
All of
that
them
guy.
profusely
He's in The Killer
sweating.
also.
Yeah.
He's Michael Fassbender's handler.
The
guy who's in like the law office.
The lawyer. Yeah. Had all
Charles Purnell a lot.
The info. Man, they were, and just all of them sweating. Like whenever
dude,
it was getting
so
real,
good.
and it's
it
like,
was so
holy,
good.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
So like you just got a group of actors there with Angela Bassett, Charles Purnell, Mark Gatiss, Nick Offerman, Holt McCanley, and I want the woman who is, I don't know, obviously Erica's lesbian lover.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Is there anything else to take from that? Like, I don't know.
Well, whenever she's on her way out and she's like, I couldn't tell you. It's like, that implies that you tell her everything.
Yeah, and you tell her while you're in bed with each other. Like, I don't know. That's the only time you are together in private that you can be doing this. So, I don't know.
Janet McTeer is that actress's name. She is so damn good, too, in this. And she was in The Menu. Interesting.
Oh yes, one of just the rich, folk eating, right? Not
like she looked mad familiar, but I couldn't place it. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, wow. National. Oh, I thought that said National Treasure, National Theater. That's my dyslexia at play there a little bit. Undiagnosed, by the way. I self-diagnosed. But no, that's man. Yeah, I don't know. Like every person in the movie, like, I'm not disappointed at, like, honestly, Gabriel, did they ADR a little bit of him, like, at the beginning of the movie? There was like when he was in the background, or kind of, he walked into the dark a little bit and was talking whatever. But before that, like, his lips didn't really match some of the. I don't know. There was like one. It was the opening.
There was one moment with Tom Cruise that I noticed that too. It was actually on the submarine. They pull out to a wide shot while he's talking, and his lips, like, obviously
it's not
don't
even
match
close
up.
to the same thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was weird. That was that they kind of just let that one go. But
yeah, no, I mean, like, it's again, it's not like it's a giant deal or anything, but yeah, it was like, it was noticeable enough for both of us to have seen it, you know. I think that Gabriel, much more interesting in the first one, but I do generally enjoy the direction they took him in this one. Like, I do enjoy the idea that because he failed his mission, he's become an apostate of the entity, basically, and now he's just trying to control it, and that's all he wants, you know? Like, it is a little Thanos Infinity War versus Endgame, where you're like, in Infinity War, you're like, wow, you know, like, he's doing all this, I guess, you know, he's got his motivations, he's got his principles, he does his thing, and Endgame is like, I'm just going to wipe it all out. Yeah. Which is kind of what I feel like Gabriel is doing in in his first and second appearances here.
Yeah, he just cares, like, tell me I've won, Ethan. Yeah, like, that's all he cares about. Like,
you're just shallow. You're just a pussy.
And he just, don't worry. All of your loved ones and everyone you care about, they're gonna be fine in the world that I make. Don't worry. I'll just be God, and it'll be fine. It's
okay. I also loved when Ethan gets brought in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after Luther dies, and they're listing off, you know, the trailer moment where they're listing off everything he did.
Oh,
and
that
everything
was
he's
so
done.
good.
You know, in fairness, the Kremlin bombing was supposed to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great stuff. But what I love is whenever Angela Bassett enters, and he's like, Madam President, you know, and they have this whole interaction. He lays out his demands, stuff he needs, what's the right thing to do, what are they going to do, and I loved the trust me one last time. I need you to trust me one last time line. The best part about that line is in a room with the President of the United States. He goes, Erica, I need you to trust me.
Damn.
One last time. Nobody else in that room would fucking dare call her Erica.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? And I love that, like, he's so far beyond all the people in this room that he can get away with calling her Erica.
Yep.
You know, and I love that. I love
No
that.
government.
And it's also it's not him wielding his power. It's a moment of intimacy. It's him telling her, I know you and you know me.
Yep.
And you know this is the right thing to do. You know, and I think it's great, man. I
throw all the titles out. It's just the human nature.
We're humans,
of,
man. Yeah. And Degas, again, I could have been okay with Degas dying. I'm glad they didn't kill the only two black guys.
That would have been pretty bad if he's like,
you know,
"Oh no, I'll stay
like,
behind too," you know, and then he actually dies, and it's
he
like,
didn't even
ooh,
need to,
yeah,
you know. So like that's why I was like, okay, but you know, it pays off. It's fine, but it would have been a really, really great payoff to his line in Dead Reckoning whenever him and Shea Wiggum are talking, and he's like, "Whose side are you even on?" He's like, "I guess when it comes to the end of the world, everybody, I guess." You know, like I think it would have been a pretty cool payoff. I mean, and it's still a cool payoff. He did get to save the world, but
and he thought he was he thought he was actually going to die there.
Yes,
like,
he did. Yeah.
It wasn't known to him, but they could make it out.
His sacrifice at the time was indeed a sacrifice. He was like, "Yep, I'm gonna help them, and I'll probably die here."
And I guess that's another case of like, oh, they're playing with another death that actually didn't happen. But no, I needed all of those people to actually get out. Like, I guess Degas could have been okay.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I said earlier they teased 5 deaths, and I would have been okay with 3 or 4 of them. You know, like if Degas dies, the other 2 have to live. If the like Jim and Tapisa staying or Jim, not Jim, Bill. Those normal ass white man names. Bill and Tapisa, them dying together would have been poetic too. I would have loved that. You know, I would have loved that choice also. Like they got a really great 30 years. Him going to Ethan and thanking him for breaking into the Black Vault.
The
it
look
was a good
they
payoff.
give each other whenever they're like,
so
yes,
good.
we're doing this. Like just the nod they give when that's like, yeah, we'll make the sacrifice. Like, oh my God.
I loved it. And I loved that's why I'm like, I think it would have been lovely for them to die together. I think it would have been lovely for Degas to be willing to save everybody, you know, like, because at least it's a sacrifice play. It's not like he's senselessly being killed off. He is saving the people he's directly interacted with. And there's a beauty in that. So that's why I'm like, I could have been okay with a lot more death than they gave us at the end, which was none.
Yep. Just a random assassination attempt, and that guy died.
Nick Offerman's character, who I do not give a shit about.
Yeah. No.
They really play that moment. And the reason it pays off is because it immediately takes over the U.S. Nukes.
Yep.
So that it was just a distraction, basically.
Yeah. And that, man, I really would have liked if she, I like that she didn't press the button and she actually was like, no, just take him offline. And like, this is actually the right thing to do. I liked that decision, but I would have liked it more. Like I would have liked if they pushed the button and then the entity was like,
if they just pushed it a little further.
Yeah, it's like the entity was like, wow, you would have done this. Okay.
You compromised
like,
every moral fiber of your being. You will always have to live with the idea that you were going to nuke 8 cities.
Oh, that's the entity's plan. Everyone who pushes the button, they get killed. But everyone who doesn't just live, like they actually live.
Maybe,
I don't know. That'd be.
There's no way. It's, dude's fucked. Dude's fucked. But I was talking a moment ago about the scene where Bill and Ethan meet on the plane. One of my favorites. I loved this moment because it speaks to what Luther's talking all about. You know, we live and die for people who will never know us. He's like, so you're the guy. You know, like, so you did that. And on the other side of it, Ethan, this is one of the people Ethan is willing to risk his life to save. You know, it's something it's this guy who's gone on to live a normal life where he fell in love, and it's a normal guy getting to thank Ethan for everything he does. You know, like, obviously it is for one thing. You know, you stole the Nautilus, but it represents more than that for Ethan. You know, for Ethan, it is finally someone who has gotten to live a normal life, who has gotten to marry and fall in love and live a full life and go, you helped that happen for me. You know, and I think that's a great thing for Ethan to hear in a movie where there was not a lot of silver lining for him. It felt like most of the time.
Yeah, because he thought that he destroyed his life. You know, he's like, "Oh, you were in the CIA. You were the top. You know, he made that system, I guess, or like, bro was the top dog."
The Black
and then
Vault. He did that shit.
And then
they did
just
not
kinda
play him like that in the first movie. By the way, they make his tummy upset and he has to keep throwing up, which is very funny. But that's crazy. They were like, "Let's pay that off," it's so good. It was a brilliant choice, and I think that. I love when he's like, if you didn't do that, I'd probably still be there.
Yeah.
Probably in that exact
thinking
same job.
I'm happy. He said,
and I probably thought I was happy. Like, oh my God, it's so good, dude.
He got out of the Empire, you know, bro found.
Yes, he did.
Like, it was like, I felt that's
Found
why,
his
like,
peace.
there were some, like, Andor and, like, or like, I don't know. It's just kind of, maybe just
Star Warsy.
revolutionary.
Yeah, Star Warsy, you know, and I think that's kind of. Mission Impossible's always had a little bit of that energy, you know, the optimistic and pulpy, like, oh, this is ridiculous, but I love it sort of thing.
No, it works. It works here. It works even better when there isn't a known force, you know, actually in the universe that is kind of, you know, helping everyone out. This is just humans that maybe there's a, you know, it's like, if you believe or not, whatever. I believe in Ethan Hunt. Is what I believe in this universe. So yeah, Ethan Hunt is
well, and that's what Luther kind of gets at the end. You know, whenever he's on the tape and he's like, "It's us, it's the people." You know, we have to choose to accept it. You know, like it's great. I love the idea that only we can decide our fate. You know, we drive our actions. And that's what the AI undermines. It takes that freedom away, that singularity away.
Man, yeah. At least all the moral and philosophical and story beats that we were going with. Yeah, I mean, I was fucking with it hard. So it's
I mean, like, I loved it. Like I said, like I know, like, we're just critiquing a movie here. I enjoyed it unendingly. Like it is a one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite franchises. So that's I'm speaking about as highly of it as I can. I just don't have as much interesting to say about it good as I do bad. And not bad, but just, you know, stuff.
Yeah. I'm feeling, I don't know. I didn't get the dang popcorn bucket. A little disappointed.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm assuming that was it was some sort of exclusive. I didn't get it either, which is disappointing. I did get a poster out of it, which is nice.
That's true.
I love the poster. Cool. I will cherish that.
You're definitely going to keep it on the Tom Cruise side. That's for sure.
Yeah, the Tom Cruise side. The Mission Impossible 1 reference poster, very, very cool. It all led to this. That's sick.
It's clean. It is clean. So yeah, very, very nice there. I guess there was a briefcase that I could have bought. I don't know.
I don't need a briefcase.
There wasn't even a briefcase in the movie. It's like it was like a black, like, I don't know. It looked like a toolkit. Honestly,
is there any chance it was just a small version of the case that he puts himself in to contact the entity?
No, it was like so much thinner. It just looked like a
briefcase.
But even like those hard cases that just guns come in, it just looked like a guitar or like an instrument or like a
right.
It just looked like one of those, but way too thin to actually house anything. Like, I don't know what was in there. So, but yeah, poster, I'm very glad on, and maybe my bank account's nice that I didn't spend who knows how much if the popcorn
It would have
bucket
been
was
like
there.
$70.
You think for the popcorn? Yeah.
Oh,
so,
dude, those
know.
things are ridiculously priced, and that was a super cool one.
That's true. Yeah, the key, dude. I wanted the key so bad. I wanted it so bad.
I'll look into it. I'll see if we can't find something somewhere. They got to
They'll be on
around.
eBay for $500 this week. I bet. Yeah, they're gonna be just inflated to hell. But no, yeah, I don't know. You're right, as in kind of walking out of the theater being like, oh man, they could have done this or they could have done that. But I think that's
I did still tear up at the times I was supposed to. I still felt everything I was supposed to, and that's what's important, man. And I love Ethan Hunt. So Ethan Hunt living, I'm not gonna complain. I'm glad he gets to live the rest of his life doing whatever he wants to do. And that's kind of cool. The end of this movie is a renewed freedom. They didn't just save the world; they granted everybody their freedom again. Like there is nothing that is there's nothing latching them anymore, and I love that.
You think he's gonna use the entity little glass thing as just like a nightlight, or just like it's just on his bedside table? Well, maybe that's like not good to keep out just in about that anyone can grab. But like, how do you even? My thing is like, yeah, they trapped it in there, and Luthen invented that thing to do it. But how do you like read? How do you implement? I don't know. Like, I guess they did have something they just plugged it into.
They were
whatever.
Like a
5-dimensional fucking I don't even. Luthen's on a different. Luthen. I keep saying
Luthen's
Luthen.
Mad scientist.
Yeah.
Luther's a mad scientist.
Oh my
dude.
god. Yeah.
Nobody's safe from Phineas Freak.
Yes, that's his last words. That was cool. That was awesome.
That.
Yeah. And a lot of Tom Cruise sprinting in this one. A lot.
They loved him sprinting. You know what's crazy? We've been talking a lot about the submarine crew and stuff. The underwater sequence. That was the part of the movie where I was like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
I was like, this is done. Like, I've never genuinely felt like something they were doing was insurmountable. And him being on the Sevastopol as it rolls down a hill under the ocean, ready to fall off a fucking cliff, I was like, yeah, that's it.
And then the pack got caught on like one of the rudders or something.
Like,
he just gets
catch
pulled
a fucking
down.
Break?
Yeah. Every something has to go a little wrong. He never just gets out cleanly. Like it's something you're like, oh fuck. But then you're like, well, he'll eventually make it out. Like,
what is cool is that there were a few of those early on. And I say early on, I guess that's probably, I don't even know how long that is into the movie. Probably close to a couple hours in.
Crazy.
Now that I think about it, that's wild. Everything during that part of the movie, like, there are multiple times where like, oh, so it's not going to play out exactly as the entity flashed at us. And then they end up finding themselves in the situations the entity exactly flashed at Ethan. And I'm like, oh no. So I like that they sprinkled in stuff that did play differently and sprinkled stuff that played exactly as the entity thought. It made the stakes, again, higher and higher. I loved it.
Yeah, I guess the only one they didn't kind of call back to, but was just maybe a background cook, was him telling Grace, like, whatever you do, stay off the ice. Just off the ice. And like,
yeah, because he saw the bombs in the Sevastopol go.
So and I guess it's more of just like, is something gonna go wrong? I don't know, or like, but I felt like there was gonna be, maybe she would have the moment of being like, oh, the ice, like, or like I'm here,
like oh no, I have to go on the ice. Yeah. Well, yeah. I love even more the idea that maybe she even does think that. But it's fuck it. I gotta go save Ethan.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah. There's just a lot. There's a lot of really, really strong points in this movie, man, and it was so overwhelmingly worth seeing, especially in that format. Loved where we sat. Loved the visuals. It felt. I sit in that seat for every IMAX movie I attend. It felt bigger than all of them.
Yeah.
It felt bigger. It just felt. larger than life, and I loved. That's exactly what I went there for. I wanted to immerse myself in a Mission Impossible movie, man. Like, and I was all the fuck in. It was so nice.
I felt like when I was, this was the spoiler free section when I was saying that it felt very practical, some of the crazy stunts that they did. And the one I'm talking, like the underground, whenever the water was just, I don't know, like the only way I see that happening is building like the hallway like they did in Inception on the big spin rig, but underwater. Like, I mean, I think they legitimately just built something that they were rotating underwater.
Dude,
and then
I was like,
Cruise,
they are fucking cooking right now. Whenever it was rotating and he was like in the ball that the actual Portkova was being kept in. Whenever he got in there and it was turning and he was climbing towards it, I was like, oh my God, they are fucking cooking. And there are a lot of points where I felt that way. There are a lot of points where I was like, filmmaking wise, action filmmaking wise, you're on a different level here. And I loved the plane chase sequence, him hanging off of an airplane. Sick. This is similar to the cliff motorcycle jump where you're like, oh, he's jumping onto a train. He's not just riding off. He has to pilot the planes while he's hanging all over them. It's not just that he's hanging off a plane. No, he's standing on the plane and he is also directing it with one of his feet. That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah, and you know, I never doubted Ethan's pilot skills. Good on Gabriel. You know, honestly, bro was
he's got
kind of a demon out
animal.
There. Yeah.
He was a fucking animal out there, dude. Whenever he, like, there were times where it seemed like he was fucking growling. He was like, ah, I'm like, oh my God, dude, what's wrong with you? Yeah,
he went out it was so fast. I didn't expect it at all. I thought bro was just gonna get away cleanly.
There's
on
only
the parachute.
one of us with a parachute.
Boom! Fucking so just absolute
split his dome. I love it. I love it. Oh, it was so good. Man. Yeah, the Final Reckoning, we've had a lot to say. And I'm sure there will be more to say. But fuck, I'm overwhelmingly happy with it. And I cannot wait to rate it because I think that will reflect more accurately the love I have for this movie than what I've said. I feel like most people will think I'm going to throw this relatively low when I certainly won't. But I am going to do the plugs and then we'll rate this thing and we'll get out of here. But is there anything you feel that we missed? Anything specifically you want to touch on?
I don't think so. I was trying to think of every little scene of the movie. But that's tough. I guess we are very fresh off, so there will be something in the morning.
We came home from the movie theater. So, there will be something tomorrow morning that I'm like, fuck, should have said something about that.
But hey, as far as fresh off can get, I think we did it pretty damn well.
I think we did some justice. I think we did some justice by this film. But yeah, then if you would, you can come on back next week, baby. Next week, we've got a special little in-betweener episode. It's a one-on-one Q&A between me and Joe, where we just ask each other a bunch of questions about movies, movies we'd like to see. If we could make a dream movie, what would it be? You know, favorite dream director and actor combos, and all sorts of fun theoretical questions and practical questions. It's a really fun time. You got to check that out. We just recorded that the other day. It was a lot of fun. Let's see, man, was that yesterday? Fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Long couple days here,
Indeed.
days. Yeah, so we recorded that yesterday. It's a great episode. And then we'll be back in June for Pride Month. We're doing nothing but queer film, in June. We've got Portrait of a Lady on Fire, the film Queer. We've got Moonlight, I Saw the TV Glow, and The Handmaiden. I'm so very, very excited to dig into some queer cinema. A lot of great stuff coming our way in June. Very excited for that. We are currently doing a Twin Peaks podcast called Fire Pod with Me. That is friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. It is a ton of fun. You have got to go check that out. regardless of if you've seen Twin Peaks or if you haven't, you do have to have seen as much as we are covering at the time. You know, like I think our season 2 episode 5 or 6 came out this week. You have to have seen up to that to listen to that. But if you've never watched Twin Peaks, you've got a companion now. Go ahead and watch it and listen to us alongside of it. Fuel your enjoyment of it. Give in completely. Twin Peaks is a great time, and you got to watch it. And if you have seen it, if you have seen the show, you can listen to any episode. It's going to be a good time for you because Joe doesn't know what the fuck is happening, and it's adorable. I love it.
I like to think I do, but then at the same time, I have zero clue. I love not knowing. It's like the perfect balance.
Oh, it's a perfect balance because like the certainty is what makes it fun. You're like, I figured this shit out. I've got it. And then you're like, oh, no,
Nope.
I didn't have it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I love that.
Beautiful
I love
show.
that. But yeah, that's what makes the Twin Peaks. That's what makes the Twin Peaks pod so much fun. So if you haven't watched the show, you got it. And frankly, if you just watch the show, you don't even have to listen to the podcast. It's just a little caveat. More than anything, you should watch Twin Peaks.
That's true.
And then if you want to listen to a podcast about it, we happen to have that. Fire Pod with me. But here in a couple weeks, we'll be back with Geek with Me. We're rebranding Fulcrum, a Star Wars podcast. We wanted to expand it beyond the bounds of Star Wars. Now it's all sorts of nerd shit, geek shit, comic book movie stuff, comic book stuff, fantasy, sci-fi, video games if we get the chance, you know, like just kind of anything that falls in that realm. It's going on Geek with Me. So go ahead and look that up. It should be available wherever you get your podcasts because it is just Fulcrum rebranded. So it still has the full catalog. It still has the Acolyte coverage we did, the Andor coverage we did, the 2 seasons of Rebels we covered, Skeleton Crew. We have all that still. We're just going to build on it. So yeah, Geek with Me, Fire Pod with me, and the Cinementalists, baby, keep coming back here. So let's rate this movie and wrap up the Mission Impossible franchise. Man, we haven't done this in a while. It's like a long franchise. I don't think we've ever done a franchise this long.
No. Wes Anderson, I think, is the only other thing to
we did 11
rival.
movies.
Yeah.
Even then, didn't take as long. We did that in 4 weeks. We did 2 a week when we did that. This took us 2 months.
I guess John Wick plus the other 4 action movies. Is that the
That was a lot.
So there we go. There's another 8, I guess there.
Yeah, projects, but not the same.
Yeah,
like,
not
it's just
one
one franchise. It's been like the only thing I can feel I can compare this to, which is crazy because this took us forever, is Winter is Blooming.
Sure. Yeah, that was that's dedication.
Our Game of Thrones rewatch podcast, everybody. That's available in the backlog of Twin Peaks Fire Pod with me, and on Penny Bloom podcast. You can catch that in either of those. Every episode of Game of Thrones, every episode of House of the Dragon so far. We've done a lot of podcasts.
But
I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt us before we get to the rating. To think about the hours we've spent speaking to each other.
Oh, man.
There's literally no shot that I've talked to anybody else as much in my life.
That's definitely
and I mean total.
True. Well, yeah.
Like, that's how much we talk about stuff. I mean, like, across my entire... I don't think I've talked to my dad as much as we've talked the last couple years. You know what I'm saying? And I've talked to my dad a lot.
Yeah, the gap between 1 and 2 is kind of crazy.
It's got to be pretty big. It's got to be pretty big. I just wanted to acknowledge that because that occurred to me the other day, and I was like, holy shit. It's wild to think about. Regardless, it's always nice whenever we finish a new project or finish a project, and it's like just get a chance to reflect a little bit on everything we've done. And Mission Impossible been a fun one. I've been super excited to show you it, and I'm glad you're finally caught up, man. We're all in. We're all on the same page. Yeah. So
better late
now
than
it's just
never.
time for annual rewatches. Is all.
That's true. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to get the 7 and 8 kind of part 1, part 2 watching here. I feel
the double viewing. I feel like the double feature would be nice. I'm assuming they're gonna release this as a set. Physically, 1 through 8. I've been holding off on buying all the movies until then because I have Mission Impossible and Mission Impossible 2 on DVD. Like they were like $6 used. You know, didn't matter. And I've got Fallout on Blu-ray. So I'm like, if they do like a 4K release of all 8 movies, Give me that. I'm
Easy.
in. I want it. And you can unlock it with the key. No, but
yes.
free marketing.
Yep, you're welcome. If it's not already what they're doing, I feel like you kind of have to do that
Like I'm the
at
entity.
this point.
I know.
Like,
Yes. It is written.
The weird sound effect, yeah.
Yeah, it's too good. It's too good. But
All right, yeah.
let's rate this thing.
What
on a scale of 1 to
singular
10.
number? Yeah, what singular number
encompasses,
can we give?
You know, this 2 hours of talking we did about the Final Reckoning. What's the number on a scale of 1 to 10 that embodies those feelings? Let's think about that. What did we give Dead Reckoning?
9 flat. Yeah.
Oh no,
I
don't know. That I
know.
can give this a 9.
Yeah. That is. It felt
I
like
mean, my gut took me 8.75. Like very high 8s. I'm not like, I don't know that I can give it. I don't know if I can give it a 9 because I'm far off. No, I'm not far off. I don't know that it breaches that though. And frankly, I might even be okay with an 8.5, but 8.5 or 8.75 is where my gut took me.
Yeah. 8.75 is Ghost Protocol. We both gave it an 8.75. The other close one is Rogue Nation. I gave an 8.75. You gave a 9.
I gave it a 9.
So it's actually an 8 forever. So yeah. I think it's not quite the 9. That's for sure. It's not quite Dead
I think
Reckoning.
8.75. It might be just that's that.
I
you
think
know,
it is.
and
Which would tie it, I guess, with Ghost Protocol there.
that's interesting. That's interesting.
So yeah. But I think that's.
I mean, that's where my gut took me. You know, like I said that it's 4 tiers, but when it comes to Dead Reckoning, Final Reckoning, Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, man, any given Sunday, you know, you throw me one of those movies, and I'm going to tell you it's my favorite of those.
Yeah, it's a pretty goddamn great franchise to have. All the movies that, you know, -7 stand on their own completely, and you could theoretically watch just any one of them on a given day. But
I still haven't done that though.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Gonna be tough to.
I've
get
watched
there.
all of the movies. I've watched Mission Impossible once on its own, and it was actually still in anticipation of Dead Reckoning. I watched the entire first 6 movies and then watched the first one again and then watched 7. So like it was still a part of that set. It wasn't like it was out of place. So it's the only one I've watched 4 times. Every other one I've watched 3, except Dead Reckoning, which is 2. No, Dead Reckoning's still 3, I think. I don't know. One way or another.
Wow. Yeah, but only one for me for them all, other than the first one. That's the only double. So yeah, didn't even get the Dead Reckoning viewing in before.
I didn't. I had it on in the background while I painted the other night, and I know it well enough to listen to it. So like, it was a nice refresher. Like I was still tonally on par with it.
Well, I got enough of it in the Final Reckoning, actually.
Yeah,
so I
no
think
shit. You didn't even need to. Like, in fact, if you did a double feature, you'd be like, man, we could probably cut this down a little bit, huh? But yeah, I mean, like even with all that exposition, its length did not get felt.
Yeah,
like it
that's
flew,
true.
man. It was all encompassing, all engrossing. I loved it. So a very very great movie, a great ending to a great franchise. I'm very happy we did this, and we can get it popping with our next franchise here in a couple months. I'm not gonna go ahead and give that away or anything, but we've got another franchise cooking. It's gonna come up pretty soon. You gotta stick with us. Another franchise we're covering. It is in anticipation of something. You do the math. I'm not gonna tell you. Is it a movie? Is it a show? I don't know.
The Smurfs movie that's
the
coming
Smurf
out.
movie. Yeah, that preview was fucking awful.
Oh my god, dude! I was like, it looked like the most lazy attempt to.
I've never watched a. I don't ever watch previews and go, that was genuinely disgusting.
Yeah,
I hated that.
Yeah, it felt just wrong. It felt just like the most cash grabby thing that there. It looked like a fucking ad for an app. Like I don't, or you know, I like a. Yeah, it was
Rihanna,
not good.
Get your bag.
Wow.
Do whatever you want,
Yeah.
Queen.
Hey,
You're the best.
they're paying
do whatever
her.
you need to do. You're entertaining your children. I get it. If this is the only way I can get new music from Rihanna is in a Smurf movie, okay. But yeah, no, it was something. But they showed the Phoenician Scheme trailer right before you got there.
No.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you that. I mean, obviously I did because I just did. But
that's okay. It's
yeah, no, I almost told you that when you sat down. Like, man,
that
you
would have been
just
worse.
missed. Like, it was literally. It ended. The next trailer started. You walked up.
No. Wow. Yeah, it would have been worse to know in the moment. It's nice to know after the fact. Much.
Yeah.
I've had the whole movie. I got to watch Dead Reckoning.
Here's something
Final
that the
Reckoning.
folks may be able to look forward to here on the Cinementalists. We have covered every Wes Anderson movie.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
When we both see the Phoenician Scheme, is it likely that we will get
Yes.
we will probably go ahead and record something on it?
Yes. Of course, Wes Anderson. I mean, it's Wes Anderson. I don't. That's
That's our man's.
I
That's
think
our
he's-
man's.
he's kind
that's who
of-
really
yeah.
started it all for us. I know we did the whole 52-year journey through film prior to that. Doesn't feel like it counts.
the art of film started with Wes.
For me,
Or
yeah, dude.
Yes, a different perspective.
Yeah, it was just man. Now that Mission Impossible's passed too, I'm gonna blitz some West movies before the Phoenician Scheme, man. Like I'm gonna
The only
down
guy,
them.
the only guy to break up my Mission Impossible watch was Wes. I was just on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. So yeah,
Too good, too good.
So,
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I guess it is over. Maybe. Who knows? I hope it is.
God, I hope so. God,
I hope it is.
So.
But man.
Oh man, yeah, they should have died. But yeah, with that, we'll conclude this episode of the Cinementalists, and you can come on back anytime you want. I'd prefer it be frequently, and you download everything. That'd be nice. May has been a fantastic month for us. One of our best. I still want us to get to 1,000 all-time downloads. I would love if that could happen before the end of the month. We're at 900. So, I mean, it would require a lot. It would require a big month, a big last week. Definitely the biggest week we would have had. But if we can make that happen, I'd appreciate it greatly. But yeah, I think with that, I can conclude this episode of The Cinementalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And remember, I need you to trust me one last time.